All right. So let's talk about a brand that is shop specific, that some people have heard of, some people have not. The reason being is it's not all over the internet and you can't buy it in your underwear at midnight. My shop you can, but you have to pick it up the next day because I'm going to have it on my website. But it's not going to be able to ship because it's territory restricted. It also has some of the best stocking that I've seen out of brands and best customer support. It's a very small company out of Missouri called Audio Dynamics. Audio Dynamics has anything from good, better, best, amazing, and excellent. So they just came out with a new series called the Master Series, is the reason what kind of prompted this video. And they also have a variety of other things for different markets. It's not just car, it's off-road, motorcycle. It's also, if you have a golf cart, we can make that happen, and all kinds of different stuff. So, on that note, let's start going through some of their products. So, for example, when we talk about the motorcycles and pro audio and everything else, we have the PCX series, which is an entry-level series for less than $200, which most people are charging $250, $300 for a set of 6x9s for a motorcycle or a side-by-side or 6.5. Similar situation. These guys have came out with a pro audio speaker that truly hits the notes for those people that just want to be extremely loud. It has 110 hertz crossover hit for the low end of it. But anybody that rides a motorcycle or any side-by-side or anything like that, once you get going a certain speed, low subsonic frequencies disappear anyway. So you're going to make sure you have that mid and you want that high. So 110 hertz up, primo for what you're trying to do. It is a paper cone, cloth surround with a bullet tweeter built into it. Stamp steel basket, ferrite with a boot. So that way you're not sitting there scratching up stuff and everything, especially putting in saddlebags or something like that. Sealed on the bottom, at least it appears to be. The only thing I can find on here that I would wish that they had was the accordion over the voice coil, because it is kind of a large voice coil. It's like 1.5 inch voice coil on this thing. This thing is going to get loud, especially for the money. No, it's not Neo. It's ferrite, so the magnet's a little bit bigger. It's kind of a heavy speaker, but I would say out of all the speakers I have tested, just personal preference that I've seen when you start getting into this stuff, is that the ferrites seem to have a little more mid-bass than the Neos, and I'm not sure why. I don't know if it's design or what's going on. If you have to put it on any surface, it's got a form-fit grill. So that way it goes right over the top, and boom. Clean installation, everything looks nice. If you have an old school that you want to take and put it up top, kind of like we used to do with the deck mount Sparkomatics, stuff like that back in the day. Old Pioneer IMPPs, trying to get that extra. These things, 2 is going to do you. You don't need the old 4 and 6 like we used to do. Even though we did the 4 and 6 because they had enough mid-bass in them to where we actually felt like we had a sub. Except for new sub technologies kind of spoiled us. So, it's hard to match that again. Then, you've got their standard definition series of amplifiers. These things are amazing, especially for the cost. So let's bring up and kind of give you an idea. So in their standard definition series is the SD2000, which is this one I'm going to put in my car with the Master Series subwoofers. I'm going to do 310s. I have a 2010 Camaro that we're going to do that in. And then the 1200 monoblock. Great for a pair of shallow woofers, small platform. So the whole framework of this thing is a lot smaller than most. And I'll pull out one of the amplifiers, kind of show you what's going on. Then start with the 5-channel. This thing here fits in most environments. All the wiring on one direction, so that way you're not trying to figure out how to go out each side and not block something. Lift it up, bring it out. Click into place potentiometers. Have dip switches on them instead of little plugs, so that way you have no failure, at least low failure. I mean, it's electronics, mass produced, you're going to run into it eventually. The low pass, high pass crossovers set right in spot, especially if you got something that vibrates a lot. Great clipping light indicator on it. Amazing piece. And the 1200, I think the 1200 has a 4 gauge and the 2K has a 0 gauge input. Haven't had a chance to take it apart yet, but we'll find out. Then, for fun, we're going to pull out the 5-channel. So yes, I will pull out the other one to show you the size. So this 5-channel amplifier, like the 4-channel amplifiers, there's 2 series of 4 channels, they're 400 and 800. This one here has a 2-channel, 4-channel, or 5-channel input mode. So that way, depending on what you have for signal output, you can take and do it. It also has a signal, DC, and remote. So that way you have remote turn-on features. That way if you're doing a factory install, you don't have to rely on a remote output source to turn it on. Yep, so looks like the Tiffany style RCAs. Let's see here, and I would say 12 gauge inputs on the speaker channels, and it looks like 8 gauge, maybe 10 gauge on the subwoofer with 0 gauge inputs. So the really cool thing about this one is, and I'll show you on the 4-channel, all your settings are under this plate. So when I pull apart the 4-channel, I'll show you what's going on with this one. And say it is really cool, and I'll actually do the click into place too. So we'll set this down, get it out of the way, put it back together here soon, and I will bring out the 4-channel and the 600 watt amp I totally forgot about. It meshes up really, really well with their single 12-inch preloaded enclosure over here. So I will give you a view of that real quick. Right there. Stitch top. About a 600 watt woofer, matches up perfectly with the 600 watt amp. And say it has the dual inputs in the side, so you can change the ohm stable. So you're not stuck with just one. So you can use a variety of different amps at either 4 ohm or 1 ohm. And then the bar grill on the front. Fits in most environments. I have had really good luck with them. They sound closer to a 15 to me. They definitely have some output, and they do not have any shortcomings that I found so far for how much you're paying for these. They definitely are worth the value of the price. Then the Standard Definition Series 800.4. Excellent for motorcycles. Excellent for cars. Small platform. Amazing. 4 gauge input for power. And then still the 12 gauge input for there. Dip switches to switch your modes. And then we'll get into the settings. And we don't have the Tiffany style RCAs on this one though. So we'll get into that afterwards. This amplifier definitely has shocked me so far. It has great output and clarity. I've had less issues than other brands when it comes to putting it into factory integration. It also has the different auto-differentiating RCAs on it, so you don't need a line-out converter when you put it on 2-channel mode. So it sits there and it goes in, it does the high-low for you. It is an excellent buy. Definitely something a dealer can help you with. Like I said, it's rare that the manufacturer runs out of stock on stuff. When they do, it's a random surge that they weren't expecting, because why? People are starting to discover what this brand is. So let me get this plate off. So 4 little screws. Seeing didn't take very long so far. So I don't have any feeling in my fingers, so it might take me a little longer than most people. Alright. Here we go. I'm going to leave this off for when we do our live video on TikTok. So, felt cover, so it's an anti-vibration. Tape seals up real well. It is high pass unless you switch it to low pass. Completely goes over. High pass, low pass crossover points. The high pass goes from 20 hertz all the way to 5K. Low pass goes from 50 hertz to 5K. So, good bandwidth for exactly what you need on the road. Easy quick switch. Clip lighting for each side. So it's not just one clip light. So a clip light for each side so you can see what's going on. Excellent, excellent little amplifier. The 600 is about the same size. I have short hands. I'm not quite 8 inches on my hand length. I'm actually closer to 7, and that's about what this is. This fits in the front fairings of Harleys. It doesn't take up a lot of space in the bags of your Indians. And saying if you have like a Road King or something like that, and you're putting like a roll pack in the front, get a pair of the PCX 610s, put them in the end of your roll pack, throw this in, bridge them down to 4 ohms, load them up and make them loud, because you can use the smaller one too, and not take up hardly any space. So these are definitely worthwhile and an excellent amplifier to have in your arsenal. Then there's the shallow woofer. So to understand how well built the shallow woofer is, I'm going to pull it out for you. So that way you can check it out. All right. I'll bring it over to the camera for you too. So, the AD 2500 10, roughly about 15 pounds, got 8 gauge, or it's 12 gauge inputs for the speaker wire, flat cone design, rubber surround, aluminum basket, motor recessed in with an ultra thick spider gap, so that way you have more internal mechanical movement, so that way you can get a better output. The FS and these things are amazing. They get pretty damn low. But just so you can kind of see this woofer, say coated paper, rubber, flat piston style design, nice cooling gap, very useful, and pole vented with a little extra pole design. So these things are definitely something you can add to your arsenal, especially if you got a truck. We're looking at doing possibly 3 to 4 of those 10s under the seat of a Chevy here pretty soon. So if I get to that one, I'll definitely let you check it out. And then the Master Series. The Master Series. So Audio Dynamics has anything from entry level. These are the Pro Audio that I showed you earlier. They have entry level coax all the way up to really nice coax. Then they have the Master Series for those that are audiophiles at the highest level. So this one here, the Master Series tweeter. Break it out for you, shoebox design. The shipping packaging in this thing's amazing. So rubber surround and gasketing, so that way you can actually put it on the tweeter itself. So I have to put it back on because I accidentally peeled it off earlier. But rubber gasketing, and then their own diffused design to improve the wave on this tweeter. It's very, very nice, and it also makes for a nice install. AD badge, so you know what it is. Definitely worth it. Now, I shall bring you the tweeter itself. Remember, I figured out what to do with the rubber. So, the tweeter itself looks like it's a fluid-filled tweeter. Like I said, I haven't had a whole lot of time to research these yet. Just looking at it, it's amazing. Neo, sealed, pre-gasketed for you, silk capped. So I'm assuming silk dome tweeter with Neo wire and fully hard sealed in the back. So it's not vented, so nothing's going to come back up and through it. So when you get it mounted in, it's exactly what you're going to be looking for. 1-inch tweeter. Then they also have their mid-range that they've designed for the audio enthusiast. So, throw this on the side. Screw. So that way we can bring down the mid-range. So the mid-range is a 3-inch mid-range with a polycone carbon fiber look. Similar design, shoebox with shoebox. So that way it's not damaged during shipping. Also solid presentation. You can tell they cared for every level when they designed these. This one is an amazing piece of equipment. I've heard a couple of people that used them that are really, really impressed with the design. Similar for the mid-range as a tweeter for the grill. And then the mid-range itself. So, I will come to you so you can see it up close. So, the male terminal inputs, that way you can design your own. You can either solder it or you can put a connector on it. I probably prefer to solder with a quick disconnect, so that way you have it all set up. Neomagnet structure. The venting on this is amazing. It's huge for a little speaker, especially with that nice little gap right there below the spider and aluminum basket. So it's not your stamped style basket. So it's the M3 Audio Dynamics Master Series mid-range. That kind of nice because a lot of times people get mad because push too hard in those, they just pop in, or you barely tap like I did, they pop in. So it keeps this installation integrity there too. So pack these ones up and then move on to the mid bass. It is a 6.5-inch mid bass with a polycone. Similar reverse surround as you've seen on this one. So we'll let you take a peek at that too. That way you can actually get into that one. Let's see here. Pack it up, the M3 onto the M6. And actually, I need to put these over here because we're going to move on to the subwoofer after we get done with that M6. So the M6, again, packaged the same. Here we go. Alright, shoebox design. Definitely got a vacuum effect to it when you go to pull it apart. Wiggle it, bring it up. Alright, and the M6, similar to the 6 or the 3. So I'll bring it over to you to check it out. There's some cool extra features on this one too. So, large gap in the cone for cooling. So that way you can actually take around the voice coil with the movement, neomagnet structure. Nice pole vented design in there. Aluminum frame, not stamped steel. And spring-loaded binding post for your actual speaker connection to make for quick installation and serviceability. Reverse surround with that. And then polycone. So it seems nice and light. Doesn't have a ton of resonance in that cone from the sound of it. So that's actually going to make for a great sound quality speaker, especially at the price point. So these ones here, I know Audio Dynamics is going to do a video with the person that helped engineer those, along with Aaron White, the owner of Audio Dynamics, who's in on the engineering of it himself too. So it was a joint venture. So definitely going to have to check that out once it comes around. So I'm not sure where the video is. Hopefully we can get to that when it comes time. Then, let's put it over. Then, the Audio Dynamics 10-inch Master Series woofer. This one also comes in a 15. They also have a more cost-effective series called Sonic Excellence. All these woofers that I'm showing you with this is IB capable. So that vacuum seal, I always get my butt kicked by these. Say, I don't know why. There it is. She came apart. You know it's not going to fly apart when it's on the shelf. That's always a bonus. So, a 34-pound, 10-inch woofer. Aluminum shallow, 4-inch. Poly front. Spring-loaded dual voice coil in either dual 2 or dual 4 ohm. I did dual 2 because, well, I'm doing 3 of them on 1 amp. So yeah, rubber surround, has the rubber gasketing on the top, polycone, spring-loaded terminals with 12-gauge inputs. This woofer seems extremely impressive. So when we get to using it, I'm going to do 3 of these in an IB and a 2010 Camaro. See how they do. Never know. So I haven't yet to do their masters because it's that new. See, then they have all their other varieties and ranges of speakers all the way from the 1000 to the 5000 series. The 5000 mid bass, white cone, you can probably shine a light behind it. Break It Out is one of the best sounding mid basses I've heard for the money. Has a definite low frequency on it that most other mid basses don't hit. But if you have any questions, hit me up at Ram Audio Electronics at raamusa.com, or hit me up on Facebook or TikTok, Instagram, 12 Volt Freak, FREQ, and we can help you with all your needs.